What's up, beautiful people? On the channel today, we are going to be talking about why Longmont sucks. No kidding, I love Longmont, but what I wanted to do is I wanted to take a look at things from other people's perspectives because I want you to have all the information you need if you're thinking about relocating to Longmont or Northern Colorado. So as I said earlier in the video, what I did was I Googled why Longmont sucks, and I came up with this Reddit page, and it says, what sucks about Longmont? Now look at the date. It was posted a year ago, so we are going to get an intent reaction from the community of people who lived here about what sucks about Longmont. So let's jump right into the first comment. My XX3 says, no Mediterranean restaurants. I can understand how that would be a problem. I like to eat too. Next comment, interesting, also about food. The lack of gyros in the city is my biggest complaint. Guys, I'm not making this up. It's right here. You can literally Google this. I will add a link to this page down below so you can check out this list of why Longmont sucks for yourself. Now, there are very serious things in here which we're gonna get into in the video, so make sure you watch until the end because there are some significant things in here that I want to get covered for you. Let's move on to the next comment from Stream Fresh. I bet you they smell delicious. The train can be an inconvenience, and traffic on Kin Pratt is starting to get ugly. Both are remedied by planning ahead and knowing alternate routes for biking. So riding a bicycle here can be a bit of a challenge. Lots of homeless around, especially in the parks. Hey, they keep clear of your kids, but they leave a lot of trash and other stuff that kids don't want to get into. So let's jump into this first comment. Yes, you are going to have homelessness in any place that you are at in the United States. Unfortunately, it is part of life. It is part of modern society. Here is no different. It's no better than anywhere else. As a matter of fact, I would say it's significantly better than other regions that don't have inclement weather because it forces people to take shelter. And when you don't have shelter, you go somewhere that has sunny weather all the time that does. So if you're from any of the coasts or warmer areas, you're gonna notice that homeless is pretty darn minimal here. So let's jump in and talk about the train because it is a real part of living in Longmont, but it's not what you think. So let's hop on over to right here, which is the city of Longmont, talking about the railroad quiet zone. Let's jump into this. The Burlington Northern and Santa Fe Railway corridor pass through Longmont. Those who live near railroad lines experience the passing of as many as 9 trains per day and 8 trains per night. And the Federal Railroad Administration requires that all trains sound their horns at all railroad crossings. The resulting noise can significantly impact quality of life for those within the range of the horn. I know what you guys are thinking. Oh my gosh, that sounds crazy. Bear with me here. Because as we move on, you're gonna see that in certain safety notifications are made to railroad crossings, okay? If certain safety measures are made to railroad crossings, basically the trains can pass by without sounding their horns. And this is in particularly what I wanted to talk about because the city of Longmont is addressing this head on because they are creating quiet zones. And let's find out what a quiet zone is. A quiet zone is a section of rail line that contains one or more consecutive public crossings at which locomotive horns are not routinely sounded. This initiative requires coordination between the city, the BNSF, FRA, and the Public Utilities Commission. And look at what Longmont's doing. Look at this. They have a plan in place. Basically, they are going to improve every single rail crossing through town. They have very meticulous plans, exactly what intersections that they're going to be working on to remedy this problem of the train. Now, we are about 1.5 miles away from the train tracks. I've never heard the train once, so I don't know, maybe I'm just used to it. I don't think so, but I think it just directly impacts those who are situated right around this area, right by the tracks, as they've got the noise meters up here, and I'm definitely outside of that. So we've got a comment, but we've already got the city of Longmont working on to take care of that. Let's hop in and see what else people have to say. We've got another comment on here by Buck the Fluffs. Who knows? The traffic on Kin Pratt really isn't bad compared to Denver, like North Glen or Broomfield. That is completely spot on. The traffic here is non-existent compared to Denver or any larger city if you've ever been. You're not going to experience that here. The people that complain about traffic are from here, a little bit older in age, and are used to the town being very small. That has of course changed over the last 10 to 15 years. And so when they're talking about traffic, they're talking about maybe a line of 15 cars trying to pull into the school to pick up kids. Now here's another comment by Max Scores, which contradicts the earlier comment about the bikes. He just says, you know what? I found riding a bicycle to be easy in Longmont. Just don't ride on Main Street and or Ken Pratt Boulevard. The neighborhoods are easy to navigate and there are some bike paths that cut through the city. Yes, let's talk about it. If you are into biking, Colorado is one of the more biker-friendly states that I have ever seen. I have never left my house one time in 3.5 years since we located here and not seen a person out biking. Everywhere you go, on any highway, on any road, anywhere you drive, you are going to see people on bikes. The biking community here, whether you mountain bike, whether you road bike, whether you ride bikes in the bike parks, whether you do pump tracks, it is a budding and growing community because we have all of this natural beauty and adventure, and why not take advantage of it? Now, I've ride my bike all over. If you guys follow me on Instagram, which if you haven't done that yet, go follow me at real.estate.hippie, where I just basically pull back the curtains. You get a behind the scene look at what life is like right here in Longmont, Colorado. And I was biked to showings yesterday, so it just reminded me of this. I have no problem on my bike getting around town. It's fantastic. Now, so check this out. I'll drop links to all these pages in the description section down there. So if you want to do any further investigation, I'll make it real nice and easy for you. Biking, everybody loves it. It's fantastic. The weather's so nice here. Why not bike? So this basically is going to show you how there's several complaints in this thread about why Longmont sucks. The biking lanes, not the case. And let me show you this. And I will say I agree with a couple of them. But so check this out. You have bicycle community, okay, bicycle issues community, bicycle connections, bicycle public forums, bicycle lane stripping. I mean, all this stuff. Look at this, okay? This is on the like city webpage. This is not even Facebook, social media. This is right here. So what we want to do, obviously, I wanted to show you guys an actual bike map of Longmont, Colorado. So this bike map, you can get on a bike and you can get from one corner of the city to the other corner without ever having to go on a non-authorized bike lane. You can take bike lanes in the street, sidewalks in certain parts of the city, and they have designated bike paths all throughout the city, as you can see by this map. So this person saying, hey, biking's not that good, I'm not gonna agree with that. I think it's fantastic. I think some of the places to where they put things can be improved on, such as when you need to hit the little button before you go across the street. Some of those are hard to reach when you're on a bike. You kind of got to do this thing to where you flail around and put one foot on one pedal and balance to make sure and hit it. But other than that, look at this. This is a beautifully laid out, well thought out bike lane, bike route, bike path, biking in this city. Sorry, don't agree with this guy. On to the next one. So we're gonna hear from a Pork Chops Espresso right now. I don't know if I think that sounds good or not. What do you think? I actually don't have a lot to complain about. I love Longmont and appreciate how this town has transformed over the last 10 to 15 years. So most of my annoyances are more minor inconveniences than anything. All right. Bike paths are great until they are not great. We have some significant gaps in how they connect, which isn't too bad if you're commuting around. But if you want to get out for any decent ride, I usually head out of town. Now, just judging by this guy is an avid biker trying to go bike 50 miles minimum, probably 50 to 100 in a day or a workout. So no, you're not gonna get that around town. So come on, man. The crosswalks on Main Street need lights. Okay, yeah, they do. Cars often don't stop in daylight, and you take your life into your own hands crossing at night when it's even harder to see pedestrians. True, flashing lights would help, but still more people likely still won't give a Well, I think flashing lights will help. If you ride your bike at night, you put on a glowing vest, and you already know that you are putting yourself in a little bit more danger not having the safety of a vehicle. But let's face it, it's more fun and you get exercise. He continues by stating, good luck buying clothes in town. There are some small business clothing shops, so I don't want to hate on them, but we need real department stores. If you can't find it at Kohl's, you're going to Orchard or Loveland or Boulder. We have nearly endless food choices though. Okay, I don't do a whole lot of shopping, but what do you guys think of this shirt right here? Pink flannel, are you kidding? My daughter said she loved it. Boom, daddy's wearing it. So the next comment here by Steezy Harvey. For food, I mostly agree, but I would love it if a decent Mediterranean place would open here. Let's talk about the restaurants and the culinary scene here in Longmont. The culinary scene here in Longmont and in northern Colorado follows one thing, and it's not what you're thinking. It follows beer. The microbrewery scene is what's budding all around Colorado. You are not going to go to a local Colorado town and not find a microbrewery, something only made right there in any of these cities. Along with good craft beer and the agriculture that led to that, you have restaurants, bars, breweries, food trucks that are going to open up around these areas. I think that we have a very diverse culinary scene, and it is growing all of the time. I see new posts on Facebook, on Instagram about new restaurants coming to town, so we will get a Mediterranean, I promise you that. So the next comment on here is by Rainbow Maggie Sparkles. Guys, I can't make these names up. This is really what it is. Most of the public transportation runs once an hour, but they're always looking for ways to further reduce the service. I don't have any experience with this, but I do know that Longmont, Loveland, Berthoud are all lacking when it comes to public transportation. If you're really going to be looking at Colorado, you really do need to have a vehicle because of the lack of public transportation. Now, as these cities grow, you are going to see an increased run of public transportation to serve their residents' needs. The next comment here is more of a list of gripes and complaints than it is a comment, but we're going to go through them one by one from what's this say? Oh, who's this guy? Fufu. Here we go, Fufu. Okay, the noise. I've never heard anybody complain about the noise, but I'm not saying that this guy doesn't have some good hearing. Let's see here. There's a god awful lot of cars. Once again, you can get from one end of the town to the other end of the town, maximum traffic, maximum busyness in, I would say, less than 20 minutes. Anywhere you want to go, less than 20 minutes on the max traffic day. So come on, Fufu. Let's see here. Fireworks long before and after the 4th of July. This is 100% true. Let's face it. People here love fireworks. And I'm talking here, not just in Colorado, but across America. Now, we lived in South Dakota, Iowa, Hawaii, and now here in Colorado. And I can clearly and concisely tell you that in all of those areas, people just love to shoot fireworks. That's it. That's all there is to it. We love America. We love our fireworks and beer. Now, the fireworks do negatively impact people who have kids like myself because you're trying to get your kids to bed. There's 1,000 fireworks blowing off. It's the 4th of July. People are blowing them off in the neighborhoods, around the houses. That, and when you own pets who do not like fireworks, that day during the year can be a little bit stressful, but it's no different than anywhere else that I've ever lived. The next thing on Fufu's list here, the trains, when the engineer takes the horn directives too seriously. I love this guy. He's got a good sense of humor. We already talked about the trains, cars racing up and down the city streets. Those teenagers, let me tell you what, this is a community. You are going to have people of all different ages. And as a result, you and I both know if you're sitting behind this camera that when you were a juvenile, you probably didn't make that good of decisions and may have sped from time to time. I don't see this as a big issue. Of course, that's just me, but that's why you guys are watching this video, is to get both sides of the story. Bikers are second-class citizens. Man. There are bikers everywhere. People love the biking community. I don't know if I can get down with that. The city doesn't provide the bike pass that it could. It does a lot. It's growing and they're investing heavily in it because people love to bike. Years later, the St. Vrain Path is still closed at Boston. Yes, it is. They're working on that. And if you don't know where these areas are, this is just some real in-depth knowledge that there are going to be different types of construction going on in and throughout the city. Why? Because Longmont is growing and wants to grow along with the community, laying infrastructure, widening streets, adding sidewalks. It's part of the deal, and it will be in the foreseeable future for this area as people just like you continue to relocate to this beautiful place. There's a couple more on here, but I did notice this one down at the bottom right here. Real estate agents who feel entitled to park their house for sale signs in my yard. By the way, if you're a realtor, don't do that. Put the for sale signs in the right yard. Now, this bottom one, thieves stealing catalytic converters and bikes. In COVID era, yes, there were a lot of people out stealing catalytic converters, not only in Longmont, but around the country, because they actually had to do that in order to produce revenue. Once they started to do this, they then realized that it was a very easy and lucrative thing. So it is something that has happened. I've heard of it happening. I've never had it happen in my neighborhood or around this area, but I do know that that is a real thing. Now we're on to a new comment, and let's look at what's this? DFOP. Okay. DFOP says, how does the internet suck? A huge chunk of the town is covered by Nightlife for some of the areas. Yeah, so you have fiber optic internet, and in a matter of fact, let me show you this, okay? You have access to a county-owned company called Nightlife, which is what they call gig internet. If you've never experienced gig internet, it will blow your mind. We have some of the fastest internet speeds in the entire nation. And a matter of fact, one of Longmont's nicknames is Gig City. Now, Nightlife offers up to 10 gigabytes, not 10 megabytes, 10 gigabytes of internet speed. What that means for you is you have some of the world's fastest internet right here in Longmont, Colorado. If you're working with large files, or you are a creative person who needs to do a lot of different types of video editing, content production, or you are into gaming, you cannot go wrong with the internet speeds here in Longmont. So whoever is talking about the internet speeds, they just need to look up Nightlife and get it figured out. If you are getting any value out of this video, take a second, subscribe, hit the bell notification so you don't miss my weekly videos telling you everything you need to know about what life is like right here in Longmont, Colorado. My phone number is gonna pop up right here. If you have any questions, please text me, give me a phone call, or shoot me an email. I answer every single phone call, every email or text, and I love connecting with you guys because you give me the best ideas for things that you want to know about Northern Colorado. Now, hopping back into the Reddit thread here, this is something that is very true. There are very few other black people. Well, I'm not black, but there are very few different types of ethnicities in Colorado, but that is rapidly changing, and that is a great thing because it brings more culture to the town, it brings more diversity, and it really enhances the way that we get to live and interact in this community. But she is right, Longmont could definitely benefit with a little bit more ethnic diversity. And the next comment says, yep, I totally agree with the few black folks. She also talks about restaurants in here. People on this video, in this thread, you can go check it out. I mean, food was a major issue, and I have never had that thought once since living here in 3.5 years. It takes you 15 hours to cross the lights on Main and Inhofer. These guys that are complaining about sitting and waiting at stoplights must have really important things to do. This next comment by TPM319 is real and is a real concern. Having main drag also be a state highway will have implications for slowing it down, urbanization, and future development. That is correct, but if we're talking about traffic, let's take a look at Google Maps here. So you can see Highway 287. Now, Highway 287 is gonna connect you to Lafayette, Louisville, and eventually Denver. It does go straight through Longmont and continues through the town of Berthoud and into Loveland. It is also our main street. So 287 goes right smack dab right through Longmont, and that is our downtown. That is all the downtown footage that you guys have seen everywhere I go for restaurants. It's all happening right here. Now, traffic on Main Street, obviously you've got stoplights, you've got pedestrians. If you're looking to get somewhere in a hurry, that's not the road and route you're gonna take. It's where you're gonna go to have lunch. Now, here's a comment which he says, nothing sucks. If you've been here long enough, you're gonna come to love the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I couldn't really sum that up any better than he did. We love living here, so much so that the pros easily outweigh the cons. But that's not what we're talking about today. We're gonna stick to what sucks about Longmont. So this comment from Blake1288 pretty much contradicts what everybody else is saying, and this is a value of opinion as well. I've found quite the opposite, actually. Never seen people drive like people here act like they have nowhere to be, which is exactly what I like. Coming from the East Coast, the lackadaisical bullshit really gets on my nerves. So he's saying, hey, people drive here like they don't have a place to go, or it's just gonna take a little bit longer to get there. I'm listening to my favorite song on the radio. Don't honk your horn at me, please. Hey, it is okay. Now let's see what Widespread Panda had to say about Longmont. The whole town shuts down at 8 p.m., yet it's nearly as expensive as Boulder now. Well, you are right, Mr. Panda, or sorry, Widespread Panda. The town does shut down at about 8 or 9 o'clock. If you're looking for nightlife, you're not gonna find it in Longmont, Colorado. There are bars, there are breweries, there are restaurants, there are all of the things. There's just no nightclubs or places that are gonna stay open to 2 or 3 a.m. So if you're looking for that, Denver, Boulder, or Fort Collins are probably gonna be more your speed. But he is right. And this is not nearly as expensive as Boulder. Boulder home prices and cost of living is almost triple what it is here in Longmont. So no sir, do not agree with that. So there you have it. We covered a comprehensive list of all the things other people are saying about why Longmont sucks. And as you can see from going through the list, that there really isn't anything that truly sucks about Longmont. As a matter of fact, it's an amazing community, and if all people have to complain about after living here for 10, 15, 25 years is the traffic and is some of the infrastructure, I will take that 100% over and over again. After moving here and living here for 3.5 years, I can clearly tell you that there is not really any of these items on this list that really gets on my nerves. Now I know the video about Longmont sucking didn't suck that bad. Thank you so much for hanging with me till the end of the video. It means a lot to me that you get enriched and I'm giving you value through this content. Once again, my phone number is gonna pop up right here. Text me, call me, let me know all of your questions because they turn into the next video. Because I don't make these videos for me, I make them for you. And until next time, stay adventurous, my friends.